guys, it's Bella. So as voted for you on my social media, here is unique serial killers. Have you guys ever bought a snack from a vending machine or a drink and gotten 2 instead of 1?
Hell yeah.
In 1985 in Japan, the land of vending machines, where you can find anything from used schoolgirl panties in vending machines to live crabs, that you can also find soda or juice laced with paraquat poison. The vending machine murderer managed to kill over 10 people all over the country in Japan. The killer laced bottles of juice with herbicide called paraquat and put the bottles into the vending machine's dispense chute. The victims would then buy a drink and, with what they thought to be a stroke of luck, would receive 2 drinks instead of 1. The killer managed to poison 35 other people who luckily survived. After poisoned milk bottles were found in vending machines at schools, vending machine companies decided to put warning labels on vending machines all over the country of Japan, warning people not to drink any kinds of drinks they found outside the vending machine or even just in the dispense chute of the vending machine. Victims of the Phantom Killer were terrifyingly bombarded by a 6-foot-tall man wearing a white sack over his head and armed with a .35 caliber pistol. In the dead of night, he would find his victims and kill them. Even though he had the eyes and mouth holes cut out in his sack that he wore, he was never seen nor heard and never found. Being a young gay man in the 1970s was a tricky and dangerous time, especially for the 14 men who befriended the serial killer nicknamed the Doodler. He would find the young gay men and gain their companionship and trust, and then be let into their homes where he would stab them and then proceed to sketch them. The only survivors of this horrible and horrendous crime refused to testify because they didn't want to be outed. This serial killer is a classic example why you should never ever hitchhike. Donald Henry Gaskins began to exploit the situations of hitchhikers who just needed a ride in the southern coasts of America. When captured by the police in 1975, he admitted to killing over 80 people, but was only convicted for 8 murders. He would torture and mutilate the victims he picked up. Even though he was sentenced to death, he managed to kill a fellow inmate and remains to this day the only man who ever killed a fellow inmate on death row. John George Hay was a professional con man and serial killer in the 1940s in England. He is known as the acid bath killer. He managed to charm and target wealthy people who believed that he was just a businessman. He lured them into his warehouse, shot them, and then put them into their watery acid graves. After their bodies had dissolved completely, he managed to forge documents that say that he could collect the life savings money and then sell all of their possessions. In 1949, he was sentenced to death and hung at Wandsworth Prison. As I mentioned in the intro, this video was voted for you guys on my poll on Twitter and Instagram. So if you want to partake in the voting of videos, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. And I also have a Snapchat now that you guys can follow me on. All the links and usernames will be in the description down below. And the poll that was voted for, there were 3 options. One was found in the forest, the other one was Bigfoot Encounters, and then there was this one. Bigfoot Encounters and serial killers managed to tie, so next weekend I'm going to be making a video about Bigfoot Encounters. And I hope that I will see you then. Death and hung at Wandsworth Prison. Sounds like Weenie Hut Jr. prison.